That's right, we are back, and I'm your host, Race Bannon, wishing you a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever the channel may be finding you. Today's topic is about a young man who left his lady and he became a success. Now, let's be very honest here, guys. Could he have become a success with his woman? I don't know, maybe not. All I know is the success portion. I didn't hear the intimate dynamics of what went wrong. I just heard what went right with the success, and that's all I was interested in. I'll give you my takeaways right after the story. So about a month or so ago, it's the height of the riding season for motorcycles, and I needed new tires. And you're going to pay top dollar at that time of the year, supply and demand, and you guys know that. So the dealer quotes me some outrageous price. I say forget about it. I go online, find some tires at a supplier about 40 minutes away, get the tires. Now I have to find a good mechanic, and hopefully by some act of some god, he's close by. So I do a little research and I find Melrose Moto, and it's on Melrose Avenue here in Los Angeles. Now guys, if you're not familiar with Melrose Avenue, at least this particular section of Melrose, it's very bougie. And I'm figuring, what the hell's a motorcycle place doing there? Never heard of one, never saw one there before. So I give them a call, and it's by appointment only. Now I'm intrigued even further. Appointment only in a place of Melrose I've never seen before, never heard of a shop there. And when I looked in the space, it was fantastic. This cat had a whole wall, just a bank of tool chest. He had 3 or 4 motorcycle lifts. He had welding equipment. He had compressors. It was just fascinating what he had done, so well articulated in this space. And he's laughing and saying, well, it wasn't always this way. Boom. I knew there was a great story coming. I told him, hold that thought. Let me go get a cup of coffee. I want to hear your story. And he's a little perplexed. I guess no one wanted to hear his story before. So I go get the coffee, and I'm ready to listen. Now, guys, I have an hour to kill here while I'm having 2 tires put on my motorcycle. And I have the opportunity, hear a great story, be inspired, motivated, or sit around and text for about an hour mindlessly. What would you have done? So this Chris starts telling me about his story. One day, him and his lady that was it. He left the apartment with all his worldly belongings and a couple of motorcycles to boot. But he needed a place to put everything, and he had no money. So that's telling me something happened right away to do a breakup when you're leaving where you live and you have 0 cash. So he puts everything in this storage unit, the one he's working in, and he lives there for 2 solid years, which tells me he left his lady in a heartbeat. Something went down. He had no cash. And so his only alternative seemed to be living in this storage unit. And guys, if you don't know Los Angeles, it can be extremely pricey to live here as far as housing goes. And apartments, studio apartments, can be $200 to $2,400 a month for 400 square foot. And out here in Los Angeles, it's generally accepted practice for the landlord to collect first month's rent, last month's rent, and 1 month of security deposit. So that's 3 months of rent up front in advance. So to make some money, he's doing Uber and he's walking dogs occasionally. Yes, guys, I said walking dogs. In Los Angeles, you can make spare cash walking dogs. It's usually about $25 to $40 an hour to walk a dog. And guys are asking him in the meantime, can you change the oil on my bike? Can you put on some new tires? Can you do these minor repairs? And he said, yeah. But each time now he would make a spare dollar, he would buy a new tool. And he did that for 2 solid years. Now, could Chris have been successful with his woman? Maybe. But I don't know what happened that he would rather live in a storage container than be in that relationship. How many of you could live in a storage container unit for 2 solid years building back up your life? Do you have that in your constitution? Are you so well rooted that you could mentally do that? This guy named Chris did. And in 2 years, he asked the landlord of the storage unit, can he rent out the unit adjacent? The landlord said no problem. And they knocked out the wall. He doubled his shop space because his clientele was growing and growing and growing. It was fantastic. Now, after 2 years, his business has doubled, his shop space has doubled, and he's got a nice apartment. Now, could you live in a storage unit? I ask you again, for 2 years? there comes a time in many people's lives where they just say, I'm not living like this anymore. Whether it be, I'm tired of this job and I'm not living like this anymore. I'm tired of being overweight and I'm not living like this anymore. I'm tired of this negative, toxic relationship and I'm not living like this anymore. I'm tired of being in debt. And that was my aha moment. I had become in debt for the third time in my life, up to my eyeballs in a sea of debt. That was over 20 years ago. And I said, I've had it. I'm not living like this anymore. From that moment on, I got out of debt, and I've never been in debt since. I use cash for everything to buy cars, motorcycles, and I use debit cards. I haven't owned a credit card in God knows how long. I pay cash for everything. I have a friend of mine, Stephanie, I've known for a handful of years, and decades ago, she was a hardcore drug addict. Her and her boyfriend spent about $500,000 to $1 million in blow. One day she woke up and looked in the mirror and said, I've had it. I'm not living like this anymore. The pain was too brutal to take. So she became clean and sober that day. She worked her butt off and became an RN, works minimal hours and makes great money. And you might be asking, but when will my life change? It will change when you change. If you don't change, your life isn't going to change. It will get better when you change. Think about it, guys. All right, it's time for me to wrap it up and get back on the road. Thank you so much for tuning in, being part of my journey. Guys, please leave your comments down below, hit that subscription button, and don't forget to smash the notification bell as well. For all you listeners within the United States of America, if you'd like an autographed copy of my book, Stop the Pussification of America, it's yours for only a $20 donation. I'll take care of the taxes, and the shipping's on me as well. If you're outside the States and you'd like a copy of my book, hit the Amazon link down below. Guys, you only have one life to live. Make your journey memorable. If I don't see you out on the road, well, until next time here then, I'm Race Bannon, and I'm out.
I feel bad for you, son. I've got 99 problems and the bitch ain't one. Tip my eyes to the sun in the west, feel the beat right in my chest. At the crossroad a second time, met the devil, changed his mind. It's about but it's really a ton. 99 problems and the bitch ain't one. If you have girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I've got 99 problems and the bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but the bitch ain't one.